All right, everyone. Well, we are back, and we are very luckily joined this morning by 1FC Featherweight World Champion Tan Le. So, Tan, thank you very much for joining us again today. It's great for us to have you back on. Look, the first thing I wanted to say was, first and foremost, we wanted to congratulate you on receiving your black belt recently. Can you speak to how gratifying it was to achieve that milestone in a martial art that is so full of up and downs in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
I mean, it was important to me as a martial artist. You know, aside from fighting, just being a martial artist, setting goals as a human, as a man, and trying to accomplish those things. But really, just being pleased with where I'm at in my journey, as far as martial arts goes, as far as fighting goes, as far as development, things like that. Right. So, a very goal-oriented person. So it was nice to be able to hit that goal. You know, with that being said, of course, you know, being a black belt doesn't really, it means a lot to me as far as, you know, like I said, goals and accomplishment and what I've achieved and what the time I've put into and what it means to my family and myself. But, you know, it's just a color on a belt. I could be terrible, you know, at jiu-jitsu and in a lower level black belt, or I could be a really, really high level skilled player, quote unquote black belt. So it's been nice to honestly just go on my own journey, take my time, and develop the skills in a way that has completed me, or I should say, made me more of a complete fighter. And it's been great to kind of go through that journey. And I say this a lot. I say this on interviews. I say this in Instagram posts all the time. But I'm a striker first, obviously. That's what I'm known for. But I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, man. It's awesome. Yeah. I love the sport. I love everything that it's given me. So it's been great.
Dan, obviously there was some pretty big news since we last spoke regarding to Prime and you know, then becoming the new broadcasting partner for One Championship. What was it like, man? Seeing yourself up on the big screen in Times Square, man. A small kid from Louisiana.
That was really interesting. I've done a few things, you know, like I guess little milestones for a regular guy that just decided to start fighting and go through those the motions, I guess, and try to accomplish these crazy dreams that you come up with. But yeah, that was a really cool little milestone. That's like, yeah, I'll keep that in the back pocket. And keep memories of that for a long time, and show the kids and the grandkids when I get old and decrepit and all that. But it's there's been a few things as far as like seeing yourself on billboards or seeing yourself on TV for the first time. You know, like YouTube headlines, that's cool. Interview headlines, and then something like that was a big one. And Times Square is always special, you know, and that was cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, Tan, look, you're slated to fight Tang in what has the makings of an incredibly action-packed featherweight fight between two top-tier, well-rounded mixed martial artists. While every fight is different, would you say that Tang is one of your toughest matchups to date? And does that sort of keep that fire going in the training, having an opponent that is going to bring the best out of you?
Absolutely. It's hard. It's a hard line as a fighter to another fighter that I had that put a different skill set to the forefront of the fight, and something I had to pay attention to. This one, you know, he's a very good striker. He's got good movement on the feet. He kind of plays a version of my game, so it's very interesting to see that type of matchup and that type of skill set. And then being a striker myself, and, you know, obviously to reach the levels that we've reached, you've got to be pretty confident in your skills and your abilities. So I see myself as one of the best strikers in MMA, and then he's a striker in MMA. So you immediately want to put that in a category like, oh, he's a striker, I'm a striker. I think I'm one of the best in the world, so I'm definitely going to beat him. Well, it doesn't work like that. Striking doesn't work like that. Martial arts doesn't work like that. So it's a thin line you got to play, and you got to kind of, you know, make sure that you're giving him the respect that he deserves, but not too much, because you got to believe in yourself and you got to have a high level of confidence. But it's I think I do that game pretty well. You know, we do our best to make our opponents, quote unquote, Superman during camp, and then continue to build our skills and our confidence and our game plan towards that final point, and then you're walking up on the trip to Singapore and fight week and all of that, and you're like, man, this guy's got no shot. This guy's got no chance. And that's kind of what puts me in a good place for fights, as far as confidence goes, as far as feeling myself, walking out, listening to the music, feeling good. Like, all that's a big deal to me. And it puts me in the right mindset to go out there and do what I do best. And that's all I can hope for, put myself in a spot where I can perform the best of my abilities. And I'm hoping that the time that I put in, I'm confident that the time that I put in, the years that I put in are going to get me to that point where I can defend this belt successfully.
Tan, obviously I know most fighters don't like to look past, past your opponents, and with good reason, but I do have to ask you, you get past Tang in August. Is there anything in mind for what you might like next? Is there a potential for you to go up and get that lightweight strap at one championship? I mean, for me, I know I want to see you face Falk, but that's just me. That's me.
There's so definitely I haven't put a ton of thought this camp in the last few months on that, because of our focus on Tang, and we know how dangerous he can be, and we know his capabilities, and know he can put dudes out with one shot, and I know how that is on this side of things, and I know how it is on that side of things. So it's I've been on both sides of the coin, so we got to make sure that we're doing our job right. But yes, lightweight does look good. That Oak and Christian Lee fight happens to be on the same night. We fought around the same time. I defended the belt. Whoever wins that fight ends up getting their belt. So maybe the timing works out really well. That's an option. There's also been a couple super fights that's been thrown around that look really interesting to me, because I really like the idea of the mixed rules. I watched DJ and Rod Tang's live, and that was a ton of fun. I'm sure you guys saw it. It was an awesome fight, but it was awesome to be a part of live. And I don't know, that looks pretty good too. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, a mixed Ruleset fight for you, I think, would be great for the fans to see. So look, Tan, on the world stage, you've achieved so much, winning world titles, high-profile fights, and fighting around the globe. And the feeling you get from that must be incredible. But would you attribute some of those larger successes to the small victories that you as a martial artist make in the gym, whether that's pulling off a certain technique or just gradually improving all of your skills?
For sure. That actually reminds me of a quote I read today, and I don't know, it was on some crazy Instagram page that there's so many like motivational quotes and all that all over that they kind of get drowned out. But there was one that basically said, hey, I'm going to butcher it, but like, the goal is to kind of look back and be like, man, all those little things that I did, they added up to something big and something important, at least to me. And that's been the biggest thing, is like just making sure that I'm improving and building my skills on a daily basis. For me as a complete fighter, like whoever that ultimate version of Tan Lee is, like that final character, and you've got all the XP points and you've got XP points, you just fill up all the bars. I'm trying to get as close to that as possible. Obviously we know that's I'm not a vampire, so I don't have enough time to make that happen, but trying to head in the direction where it makes the most sense, build the skills in the right order. We've all built characters in a video game where they didn't play out right. You know what I mean? You face a boss at the wrong time, and shit, I should have this thing instead of that thing, or this combo instead of that combo, or whatever. So it's funny that the small wins on a daily basis is I'm continuing to try to build my skills on a daily basis that equal a bigger picture. And I don't think fighters do that enough. There's a lot of guys who look at the big picture. I think there's a lot of guys who look at the small pictures and build skills, but they don't build the small skills to make that final version of themselves, that ultimate character, that unlocked character. So we're trying to do that. I'm trying to do it as best as I can. I get a lot of input from my coaches and my mentors and things like that. You guys know who I train with. I've got Sean Gayton from New Orleans and Mid-City, my brother who's there all the time. Ryan Hall on a regular basis, that I train with him as much as possible for this camp. We got Corey Sandhagen coming in too. So it's been a lot of work, a lot of input from guys that are way smarter than me and way better at this than me, that I'm trying to just steal from and make a good final character of myself. And, I guess if I give you a long answer to that question, but it's really like those daily skill building things for that final ultimate character,
For sure.
Tan, your Instagram cracks me up, and I've got to say a shout out to the Asian Cajun, because your brother's funny, and you guys make some funny videos. And I even saw that, to the point where Snoop Dogg's reposting. You gotta give some credit there. But just having a tight knit sort of crew like that around you that can have that fun, as well as be a savage in the training room, make it more enjoyable each day you arrive to training. Knowing you're gonna get you're gonna get flogged and you're gonna get a tough session in, but there's gonna be some fun moments in there.
Yeah, it's nice having that balance. I'm gonna call that balance in my life, because if it was just me making these sessions, I think it would be a little too much on my body, a little too much going crazy hard, and maybe injuries happen, and maybe your body starts deteriorating after months and months and years of that. But it's a good balance, we do have a lot of fun. Don't get it twisted. Like, we do have a lot of fun, and I enjoy. Like, I could do this if I didn't enjoy my journey through it.
Yeah.
And, everybody always says enjoy the journey, not the destination. But that's a real thing. Those cliche, those cliche like sayings come from real, genuine, successful people saying, "Hey, Kobe on the mic during retirement speech, like, hey, it is the journey. It isn't the destination." But when you're the dude doing it, or when you're the one trying to accomplish the things that he's accomplished, you're like, I want the MVP, I want the Super Bowls, or whatever that is. So it's a little hard, but they give me really good balance in making sure that obviously I'm enjoying the training side of things too, and not just making it too hard, which I tend to do a little bit. But it's they give me a kick in the butt in both directions.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's exactly what you want. So, Tan, I was reading some excerpts from an interview that you did recently where you talked about that you aren't always necessarily chasing those money fights or putting on a personality that maybe isn't entirely you just to sell a few pay-per-views. Is that authenticity and staying true to yourself something that you attribute to the influence of martial arts on your life, or is it something that's more just a part of who you are?
That's a hard question too, because my entire upbringing, my dad's a Taekwondo master. He's done martial arts his entire life, so it's hard to say. Like, is it just dad, or is it a little bit of the martial arts from dad, because he's always been doing that his entire life?
Yeah.
So I would like to say it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But martial arts made my dad, because it made me who the man I am, right? And he obviously contributed a huge part of that. So it's hard to say, but it's nice to blame it on those two things, because those are two things in my life that I'm so grateful for.
Yeah.
And I you can't, there aren't words that I can say in this interview that describe how much of a positive impact that's made on me, how much it's helped me throughout my life, teen years, high school, adulthood, marriages, divorce, all it, you know what I mean? Like, it's just all kind of aspects of life. But it's so great to be able to do these interviews, and it's just me. I don't have to like prepare, I'm on a bus headed to an airport, you know what I mean? Like, I have to get ready. I don't have to like up for it. None of that. Yeah. Did joint interviews with Kai, and he was kind of talking a little smack, and who knows what gets lost in translation, but that I just respond how I would normally respond if he was sitting there in front of my face and we were just dudes, not in front of millions of people about to fight. So it's easy because I was brought up that way, but I guess I'll blame it on good upbringing from good parents and some martial arts too.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Tan, last one from us, man. We really appreciate you giving us some time. I know you're on a bus. I know it's a bit chaotic, so I really, really appreciate it. We saw that you recently were voted #1 most exciting American fighters for one championship, and it is very evident, man. You got a big following. Our last interview with you got 13,000 views on YouTube. It's very, you're a popular guy, man, and people want to see you fight. How pleasing is it for you, whilst remaining focused on the fight with Tang Kai? How nice is it to sort of get those little mentions every now and again?
I'm gonna recap you a little bit, because I lost a little bit of that. You were talking about being named one of the most exciting fighters, the American. Okay, thank you. That was a little strange, to be honest with you, because I saw who else was on that list, and I don't know. I guess I know the time that I put in, and I know the things that I've done in the sport, but seeing it from these eyes, you're like, that's weird to be the top of that list. You know what I mean? Over guys like that I've looked up to my entire career, the guys that I've talked to in a Singapore hotel because he was fighting on the next card, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's Mighty Mouse!" And we're having a conversation. Talking to my daughter, and you know what I mean. Like it's really cool, and it's cool to be considered at least anywhere in the same realm as the guys that were on that list. But I'm very grateful for that. I think my style obviously makes for good, exciting fights because I happen to finish a lot of people. We continue, plan on continuing that streak all through until I can't fight anymore, hopefully. But we'll see. It's nice, kind of looking back and talking to the team and then bringing up points like, one of the few champions of the world that have 100% finishing rate, and I've never been to a decision. I'm not gonna eke out, a loss and barely lose a belt or something like that. So hopefully it does make people excited to watch me fight because I do enjoy putting on those types of fights. It's what I like doing. I like putting people out. It's exciting for me, and I hope it's exciting for everybody to watch,
Yeah, no, for 100%. Sure. Well, look, Tan, thank you very much for joining us today, man. You're always so generous with your time. And for us, it's just a pleasure to speak to a martial artist of your caliber and someone who really has been there and done it all in the sport. So, Tan, look, we wish you all the best on your trip back home, and also wishing you all the best, of course, for training for your upcoming fight. We can't wait to see you compete August 27th against Tang, and hopefully we can get you on after you get that W, hey?
Absolutely. We'll go get another belt for the collection. I'll hop back on and we'll talk a bunch of shit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, man. Have a good one. Thank you, Tan.